pandemic put us in a mode where we had never been before, essentially in our lifetimes, where you could not communicate in person. You did not aggregate people. You didn't go to work, you didn't go to school, you didn't go to community meetings, and therefore it became necessary to utilize the technology that existed, but which most of us had not become very conversant with in a sophisticated sense. You know, I can't remember how many times I was on Zoom in a regular course of business before the pandemic. Not very often, some. And what we were confronted with was the reality that if you did not have the technology and you didn't know how to use the technology, you were shut out, which was bad for kids in school. It was bad for people who worked, and it was bad for people who wanted to converse with their families. So we had a reality that existed. Now, you mentioned two bills, the infrastructure bill and the inflation reduction, but actually it was in the rescue plan when we had the first effort at digital equity. We recognized that, particularly because schools, I think that was probably the most stark example, that if you didn't have a computer, if you didn't have some sort of device on which you could communicate from afar, then you were shut out. The rest of us, the adults, could somewhat overcome that, but kids couldn't overcome it. Because you're only in the first grade, for the most part, once, and second grade twice, and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So if you lose out at that period of time, you are very disadvantaged in our society. So that's where digital equity came in.